Hi, I wanted to share my thoughts on the impacts of trauma concerning children. I think that this is trauma is something that can start definitely while in the womb. Children who are conceived under extremely stressful circumstances, where the mother is in an abusive relationship or doesn't have the kind of family life that offers her good resources, adequate medical care, or nutritional supports, or just in general taking care of your body, that has a long-lasting effect on the child, of course, as far as their health is concerned, but also as far as just the general development of the child. I know that in one of our classes before we learned about epigenetics, and that can affect just our genetic markers and how our body responds to certain things once we are born, our environment, everything around us. This is often something that is kind of a part of a generational cycle. Maybe young teens who are pregnant are the result of a family life where they themselves were born to a teen mother. And so things like prenatal care and general nutrition in general just aren't something that's valued or deemed as necessary or important. So going on into the effects of trauma, of course, after children are born, you can see this in developmental delays. You can see this in their ability to cope with their emotions. You can see this in their ability to reach milestones as far as development goes. If they are still, which is most likely, in a situation where there's traumatic situations going on around them, this is just going to further delay them. Of course, if they're taken out of that environment, the delays may not be as much with some early interventions. Things like gaining weight properly, or setting up the ability to soothe themselves without extenuating efforts. Those are all things that show evidence of a traumatic environment. This, of course, goes on into school-age children, where you might start to see children who have behavioral outbursts, who are, again, unable to regulate their emotions. When something doesn't go their way or how they expect it, they'll have a very loud outburst, as opposed to just oh darn, that didn't work out for me. Let's move on and try again. It takes a lot more effort to get them through those simple tasks. It also can manifest in a negative self-talk, where children will they'll go straight to the place of, I'm not worthy, I'll never be able to do this, which again is going to be something that's that can be an indicator of that's how they've been talked to in their life and how they've been treated in their life. Every mistake is something that you can't come back from, because somebody has always been telling you that you are a mistake, you are not worthy of something because you've done something wrong, instead of seeing it as, I made a mistake, let's fix it. It doesn't mean I'm a bad person. Going through elementary age into adolescence and teenage years, this will begin to affect the kinds of people that that a person may choose to surround themselves with. Oftentimes it'll be a situation where people who experience some kind of trauma, they find each other, so they possibly make bad choices together, stop caring about education, start drug usage, just things that are in general not good for their overall success in life, which again just causes that trench of negative in their life to just get deeper and deeper. Oftentimes girls who witness their moms being in abusive relationships tend to mimic those behaviors and think that that is an acceptable form of a relationship, and they will themselves seek out or end up with partners who don't treat them with respect. Again, because their self-talk is so negative that they just don't think that they deserve better. And again, that's just another generational cycle that can be broken with supports, counseling, things like that. But if it's not addressed, it just will continue to happen, most likely. Never want to overgeneralize, but another thing that will manifest itself is depression, anxiety, low self-esteem, which can eventually lead to attempted suicides, and it just becomes this very, it can become an uncontrollable issue in a person's life. One thing that the text mentions is the long-lasting effects of emotional and psychological trauma compared to physical abuse, not to negate the severity of physical abuse, obviously. However, it mentioned that when working with people, that emotional and psychological abuse sometimes takes a lot longer to overcome, because that is the voice inside of your head. That is the self-talk that you've always had. And so to reprogram yourself and to change your inner dialogue, it takes a lot of work and a lot of strength to be able to work through that. So in these processes of investigating child abuse and neglect and removal from foster care, removal from the home into foster care or adoption, these can cause trauma, because this is something where, you know, you're taking a child out of what they know, even though it may not be healthy, and you're putting them somewhere where they don't know how to survive, they don't know what to do, and it can be in itself another traumatic experience. For biological parents, I think that having your child taken away would be it would be a devastating act in your life, to realize that you've gone so far into your own insecurities and deficiencies in your emotional and mental wellness, that you've lost your child. And for some people, they may feel like they can never come back from that. And for some people, it's a wake-up call where they can maybe decide that now is the official time that I am going to seek help and I'm going to do better. I think that for siblings to be separated, that's another highly traumatic situation. I know that you read about, you see in movies, you hear people talk who say, well, I have a sister, but I haven't seen her since I was 3. We were separated, or, you know, just something like that. It's something that you don't let go of. It's something that you have to work at letting go. I think that for foster and adoptive parents, I think that it can again be very traumatic to first of all take in a child that they don't know anything about, possibly somebody who has very extreme behaviors, and try to help them. I mean, that's got to be, you have to be in a very good, strong place to be able to handle that, because you know that that child is going to do everything that they can to not fit in, because that's how they feel. That's their inner dialogue. They don't deserve to fit in. So I can see where that would create trauma, and I could see where you would take in a child and love them and have it work out great, only to have them have to leave you because their biological family gets it together. And again, that's a little bit of a traumatic experience, to feel like you're going to lose a child, even though you know what it is when you walk into it. And I think that for child welfare workers, I think it's important to have really, really good supports, a really good support system around you, and really, really good efforts at self-care. I think that you see people at their worst in this service, and to let it not get to you, you have to be able to see the big picture and understand what you're doing, and see yourself as a person who is in the right place, and just not be affected by it. I think that and I think that that's really hard. I really do. And I don't quite know how everybody handles it. I think that for the most part, they probably enjoy seeing, I think that they've seen enough successes, hopefully, that that's how they continue to go. I haven't worked in child welfare like that, so that one's a little bit hard for me. Sometimes I see it as a bit of a just really being good at disconnecting from things. So, okay, thank you.